I've had roofs blown off onto the ground from high winds. Like their house is on the ground.
The only way that my mind works and the only way that we operate is doing everything to the best of our ability throughout the whole process.
I'm going to do the best job. I'm here for you. You can call me anytime. Like, why risk your business and your growing business and your future business or your existing business just to line the pockets of a homeowner for no reason? All right, guys, today we're going to talk about something that's really hurting our industry and that can further hurt the future of our industry, especially for those that do insurance. So we all know like doing insurance work, and some of the companies are purely insurance based. Some companies mix retail with insurance. Some companies go all retail. But when we're talking today, I'm really going to be talking about the insurance and the insurance part of our business. Something we're noticing that's happened, which I know has been a problem for a long time in like the Dallas market and some of the southern markets, is the race to the bottom and undercutting other people and undercutting the insurance estimates to earn the business. And I know, I mean, this kind of goes along with the absorbing or eating deductible situation too. I know, when you're trying to earn jobs and there's already been multiple people at the door that have said that they would, hey, I'll take your deductible, or I'll take your deductible plus 1,000, I'll take your deductible plus 5,000. Around here, that really wasn't too much of a thing, and it seems like in the last like couple of years, we've both noticed that it's becoming more of a thing where it's like, hey, how much can we eat in order to get this job done? And I just kind of want to talk about that, as well as like the future that, Xactimate's built upon an estimate, a median price per area, per zip code, right? And it's constantly updated. And if we're constantly racing to the bottom, then the long-term effects of doing that constantly can really hurt the industry as a whole. So what do you think, Seth? So you talked to me yesterday or 2 days ago, and we were talking about, it's becoming more mainstream. It's becoming more common that we have customers or other companies around us that are trying to be insurance experts.
Yep.
And guide these people through the process, which they don't understand what they're doing. And they're trying to do it for a lesser dollar value than the Xactimate allows.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this, I would say, the last 3 years. It seems like every time I turn the corner, there is a new company out there who specializes in insurance restoration, hail damage, wind damage. There's tons of them now. And it's really affecting the industry negatively, in my opinion, by pricing. So I have a lot of customers that say, hey, I had 10 other companies knock on my door, and they said that they will actually put money in my pocket. Some of these customers have said 5,000. Your insurance company writes their estimate, in which this is what blows my mind, is these estimates are short. They're missing components. Adjusters are not roofers. Every estimate I see from an insurance company is missing components, and it's not their fault. They don't know, and that's where they rely on us to send in our supplements to get them to where it needs to be. It's really cutting down the industry as a whole, because Xactimate, which is the software that insurance companies write in for their estimates, goes off average price per area code. So when the insurance companies are going to start seeing these low estimates popping up everywhere, it's literally going to drive down the price in the industry as a whole. The other side of the coin that doesn't make sense to me is why the contractor themselves they're cutting themselves short. There's no reason to come in and do the job for essentially nothing just to get the business.
Yeah, I think people like new guys that are in this industry and they're branching off on their own, they're kind of one-man band. They have a little crew that they have working, right? And they're like, okay, well, at least I can get this job and I can make some money.
Yeah, and I get it. They want to do the job
somewhere, right?
They want to get their sign up. They want people to see them. I get it.
But in the meantime, what's happening is it's hurting the future of what we do, as well as the median Xactimate price.
Yeah.
For what we do. Do you know how, and I don't know the answer to this question, but do you know how the median price is calculated? Like, how does Xactimate come up with the number? I know it's updated all the time, but where does that number come from?
When they send in an estimate for a low price, and that adjuster is making a revision to his Xactimate, when he hits complete on that file, which it's going to be, like I said, it's per area code. So when all the adjusters are writing their initial estimates or revising it and hitting complete in Xactimate, Xactimate takes all that data from that area code, and as you're sending in the lower estimates and they're completing their estimates, and that price is coming down, that's how they get their average price. So the more low estimates that are being sent in and Xactimates that are being completed for a lower number, you're going to see the average price on Xactimate become lower and lower.
Like you said before, I mean, it's insurance fraud. We all know that, but very few people that live in the insurance game play by the rules by a bunch of different factors, right? As far as, I mean, I don't even want to get into that stuff. But it's not a very clean game. And it's not just on the roofer side. It's not a very clean game on the insurance side either. Like, there's no standard.
No.
You know, when homeowners ask me, you think this will be covered? I tell them the same thing. I've had roofs blown off onto the ground from high winds. Like, their house is on the ground, and they send out an engineer and say, hey, improper seal or failed install or whatever shit. And I've had the opposite where it just got written up for whatever reason.
For no.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it's such a gray area in this game, but the ones that, you know, are understanding it and they're doing it right, and the ones that in the future want to do it right, where you want to build your name for yourself, you want to build a brand for yourself, sure, you want to gain this work, but the truth is you don't have to undercut the Xactimate. That's what the Xactimate's there. Why risk your business and your growing business and your future business or your existing business just to line the pockets of a homeowner for no reason? Those numbers in the Xactimate are there for a reason, right? They're there because that's the average, meaning you take the highest person in your area and the lowest person in your area, and they're paying somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere in that middle area, and then plus supplementation if you actually know how to do supplementation, right?
Yeah. I hear this all the time. The contractor will send in their invoice to the insurance company for what the Xactimate states, let's call it 30,000. And then they send in their bill to the homeowner for 25. That's insurance fraud. I mean, there are some serious penalties that.
Now, is that insurance fraud on the homeowner's side and the contractor? Does the contractor take full responsibility in the event that it's discovered?
That's both parties.
Yeah.
Because the homeowner is agreeing to it.
Yeah.
They both know what's going on. I'm not saying necessarily the homeowner doesn't understand the full repercussions of it, but they both know. I mean, it's on paper.
Yeah.
The amount that the insurance company is allowing, and they're sending in the document for that amount, and they're ultimately putting the money in their pocket. There's no way for them not to be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard adjusters or homeowners say that adjusters or desk adjusters say, hey, I mean, this is the amount we're writing. Like, I know with the ACV, right? Like, if you get an ACV check and you just don't do the work and you keep the money, right? Like, they're allowed to do that. It's just they're not going to be able to get the roof covered again, right? Like,
exactly. When the insurance company gives you out your payment for your ACV, which is the actual cash value payment, the first payment that they send out to you, you could technically choose to not use those funds to fix that particular item. But let's say your gutters get smashed by hail on the front, left, and rear elevations, and you decide to keep those ACV funds. And then 3 months later, a tree falls and hits those gutters on those same elevations. And the insurance company comes out and sees that they are old. You did not replace them 3 months prior. They're going to write up your new Xactimate with those items on there, but that ACV payment will be deducted from that new Xactimate.
Yeah.
The problem is when they submit for the RCV, the second check, and they really didn't do the work.
Oh, for sure.
That's where it becomes the fraud.
And that's, I mean, again, the game's played so dirty from the beginning to the end that, you know, we could go on and on like that. So as far as, like, you know, going back to the main reason we're doing this today is, you know, undercutting each other. For the companies that care about their reputation, care about the future of the business, care about actually building a brand, what can we do about this? Like, how do we, as me and you, deal with, you know, when the customers bring this stuff up? You know, how do we deal with this?
I will always explain the repercussions of doing these things, of course, because like I said, a lot of contractors literally will try to persuade the homeowners into doing these things as if they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. You're trying to persuade a homeowner to do something that is a felony. But what I do is I make them aware that, you know, this is definitely not allowed. And then also, then I go into the value that we bring within the whole process from the beginning to the end, taking care of the whole claims process to where the only thing that I cannot do within the process is call and file the initial claim, which I give them the information to do. That's all they have to do. I take care of the rest. I meet the adjusters on site, go over all the damages to ensure that anything that was damaged during that storm gets approved for replacement. Like I said earlier, the estimate's always missing components to what it actually takes to do the repair, settling all of that, and then doing the work with the highest warranties in the industry, installing everything to manufacturer spec, and really providing the value from start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying something when you came in here before we started filming about a customer had received his supplementation, which, you know, you're showing him, hey, this is what your Exactimate is, or this is what our price is at this point, right? This is what our price is. We've agreed with the insurance company. And they went ahead and called the supply house, got their own pricing for shingles, and said, I don't understand why it costs X amount of dollars when the shingles only cost this amount of dollars. Now, I know as far as like the way we do things, because, you know, not to like toot our horn or anything, but, you know, like our brand is pretty strong and what we do is pretty known around here between the homeowners, the contractors, the suppliers. Like, you know, we have a little bit different of a advantage, but our fellow roofers that are working their butts off out there watching this, you know, trying to soak up a little bit of information, how do they navigate that phone call, right? Where it's like you're defending yourself for trying to make a living. How would you, like, you know, if there was a new guy you were talking to, how would you try to help them, you know, navigate that conversation with the homeowners? You know, that maybe they don't have the big brand, maybe they don't have the 1,000 reviews. How do you get around such conversation?
If we were coming in and undercutting these people or offering 5K in these people's pockets, then they're going to go with us all day. Dude, it's just like when you started out. It's the struggle. But what did you do when you first started out?
Yeah,
you did shit for cheap.
You hustled, yeah.
To get your name out there.
You know, like I've always been me and I've always been myself and try to explain, like, you know, I'm going to do the best job. I'm here for you. You can call me anytime. Like, I know I'm a smaller company, but like you can literally call me anytime. Like smaller companies have that advantage where it's like they have control over everything. You know, so it's like, hey, give me a chance. Like I know the shingles cost that much, but there's marketing expenses, insurance expenses, crew expenses, insurance liability, business license. I mean, there's a lot of expenses that go into this, and the net profit is, yes, I'm a profitable company, right? I have to make a profit. You want me to be profitable, Mr. Customer, don't you? Because if I'm not profitable, I'm probably not going to do a good job. What gold nugget would you give somebody that's starting out when they had a customer call and say, hey, I looked up the price of shingles. I don't agree with this amount after they've already signed the contingency?
So obviously starting off in the beginning is going to be a challenge because you don't have that well-known brand. So you really just have to be yourself. I'm talking from the only way that my mind works and the only way that we operate is doing everything to the best of our ability throughout the whole process to where our install is done correctly. We use all high-end products. The problem is some people don't operate this way. They're in it for the money. They're using sub crews that also don't care about the quality or the outcome. You really have to do what you have to do to prove yourself.